Editing Natalie here. Hope you guys are doing good and having a good day. This video is so long and I apologize. I've been trying to edit it down and I feel like I can't edit much more out of it just because it's telling a story and I'm slow at it. So grab a drink, grab a cup of whatever you want, and turn your YouTube on to, you know how you do it, on 2x speed. That would be probably pretty ideal for this video. But I hope you enjoy it anyway. I enjoyed making it, and I hope that none of you can relate. I hope you guys are having a good day. Bye-bye. And if you can relate, I'm really sorry. Bye. Hello, everyone. I'm back again. I know that I've made a video a bit ago that said I was back and whatever, and now I'm back again. I think this is just gonna be like fairly inconsistent for now, and I'll tell you the reasons why while we're gonna get ready together. If you want to stay around and chat with me, then continue watching. You know, I film on my iPhone, and so I look at myself instead of looking at the camera. So I haven't been doing a whole lot of filming, obviously. We just kind of went over that, but I haven't been filming because I'm going to school, and I was trying to devote all my time to school, and then life happened also. And I'm going to online school. If any of you are wondering, it's called Western Governors University. I would recommend them to anybody. I'm still only in my first semester, but I've liked them so far. About 6 or 7 months ago, this is totally TMI, by the way. This is where we get into TMI land, so if you don't want to listen, this is where you cut out. My periods have been getting like continually worse and like more painful, and I wasn't really bleeding more until the last two, and the last two have been terrible. So I've been in the emergency room a couple times, and so I was working with my doctor, and he was like, what is going on with you? I was like, I am just hurting. I can't do anything. Everything is uncomfortable. And then that time of the month is like, I can't do anything. I have to not work. It's not been a good situation. And y'all know I had some chronic pain problems in the past, and I'm doing really well from those. I had like 6 months where I was like pretty much pain-free. Crashed down to now. Gosh, I need to keep going. I'm so bad at, like, first of all, I talk with my hands. Second of all, I'm like trying to do more than one thing at a time, and apparently I can't multitask. But I am never gonna get ready if I don't just keep going. So anyway, I was doing great, and I was doing all the things. I was working. It was awesome. So I'm gonna use some simple micellar water to clean off my face. I should have done this last night, and I should have washed my face last night, but you know, here's the thing. I'm not perfect. And I hope that when you watch this channel, you're like, oh, yeah, there are people like me out there that like don't do all the beauty routine perfect all the time. So anyway, so I was hurting, and he was like, you can't go on like this. He said, we need to go in and take a look and see if you have endometriosis. Sorry, endometriosis. I think sometimes it's like while I'm talking, while I'm yawning, like I think that other people can hear me because I know what's going on inside my head. But so I'm just gonna flip this over and use the other side. He said the only way that you can tell if you have endometriosis is by doing a laparoscopy. And what a laparoscopy is it's a surgery where they put you under and go in and look. They take little teeny tiny cameras, and I had 2 little teeny tiny, like less than 1/4 inch incisions. And one was just barely underneath my belly button. So like when I'm not all swollen and stuff, it kind of conceals in my belly button. You can't even see it. And the other, sorry, I've got a garbage down here, is right on my C-section scar line. He just took the same line. And so he went in and said, yep, you've got, excuse me, you've got endometriosis. And I used a laser to kind of burn it off. I had a little bit on my ovaries, or on one ovary, sorry, rather. And then I had weird cysts on my fallopian tubes. I had, like, he said, like a tablespoon of blood at least just in my abdominal cavity that wasn't supposed to be there. And so he had to get all that out, and he said if you've got like free-flowing blood in there, that can be very, very painful, as well as the endometriosis. And so he cleaned all that out and then found that there was endometriosis under that. But he also said that my fallopian tubes were allowing blood to like flow backwards. So I had, like, it's called retrograde flow. So I had blood flowing from inside my uterus, but instead of coming out with my period, it was flowing back into my abdomen. And it's so weird because we've been trying for a baby for a long time. We've had some losses, and then we've had some infertility that we didn't know what was going on, and now it's probably attributed to the endometriosis. But I've talked to you guys about, you know, believing in God and being part of my religion, and we believe in our religion that we are entitled to personal revelation, and that means, in my religion, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so that means that we believe that literally the Lord can speak to us in our lives and let us know the things that we need to do for various different reasons. And my husband and I both had been praying, and for some reason, when I first talked to my doctor, I was like, hey, could you tie my tubes while you're in there? And he was like, are you done having kids? Because he knew we had been trying. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know why I just asked you that. I just felt like I needed to ask. And he was like, yeah, we can. But he said, you have to be really, really sure, because the way that he ties tubes, he puts it like in the OR when we're doing a C-section, the only way that I've ever really seen it is they kind of tie it with actual string, and they put a tie on one side and then they cut it, and then they put a tie on the other side and they cut it, and there's this piece in the middle that they pull out, and we send that off to pathology. But the way that he does it is he takes like a paddle type thing that has cautery, and he like puts it on it, and like it's like a straightener. He like puts it on it and then like cooks it and burns it. And so he said that when he does it that way, you can't reverse it. Sometimes you can reverse tubules. Sorry, I got a hair. Okay, found it. We're good. And so he said you can't reverse the kind that he does, which is fine. You know, I didn't know I was asking him anyway. I was pretty sure I wasn't going to go through with it. I didn't wet any sponges. And so I'm going to do my makeup with all brushes today, which has been fine. I've kind of been doing that a little bit, but I'm still finding a concealer brush that I like. I haven't really found like a good concealer brush, but that's okay. And I'm going to use this Wet n Wild brush that is, I love this handle. I think it's super cute. And I like how it has the little thumb indent there. So he was like, you know, you have to be sure that you want the tubal. And I'm like, I don't even know why I asked him that. Why in the world would I ask him that? Oh, you know what? How about we moisturize and prime? Let's just do that. I'm going to use the LMS Pro Collagen Marine Cream that I got in a BoxyCharm. I've been using this every day and I am not getting through it. And I am glad I'm not getting through it because, oh goodness, yep, totally dropped the wrong way. I got moisturizer all over my nightgown here. Because I really have enjoyed it. I got that It Cosmetics Confidence in a Cream that we got the later time, and I don't love that quite as much as I do this LMS cream. And so I was trying to use it all up so that I could use the It Cosmetics cream, but I didn't. And I have got sparkles all over my face, and I will tell you why. And well, I'll tell you why right now, just so that I don't forget. So this Cover FX, I'm showing it and my mirror can see it. This Cover FX palette, it's the face palette. Oh, that looks terrible in the lighting with the, sorry, I'm trying not to blind you guys with the mirror. It's the Perfector face palette. I was using the finishing powder because I don't know what it's supposed to be used for. Other than just like a powder on your face. It's this one right here. And it has sparkle in it. I don't know why it has sparkle in it, but I'm like, it has, like, this is the only way that I can think to use it. It's the biggest pan in the whole thing, in the whole palette. So, yeah. I don't even know where I was, you guys. This is how I am. This is like when I'm talking to people, I'm like all over the place. I'm going to use this Touch in Sol No Problem Primer. That was really hard to get through for my pores. So yesterday I didn't use a primer and I realized how huge my pores are. So you know what? I'm going to use the foundation I used yesterday. I was going to use the Wet n Wild foundation, but I think I'm going to use the one I used yesterday because I want to see if this primer helps to kind of fix those pores a little bit, because I was not impressed with my skin yesterday. So anyway, I came home and I talked to my husband, and it was like couple days, and I told him what I had told my doctor, and I said, you know, this, if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at my mirror. So I told him what I talked to him about, and I was like, you know, I don't know why, but whatever, we don't know if we're done, we don't know if we're keeping trying, whatever. So about 2 days before my appointment, we were talking, and he out of the blue was like, I think we should tie your tubes. And I was like, I think we should too. And I don't know why. Like, I honestly have no idea why we should. And he's like, I don't either. But he said, you're not getting pregnant. There may be a reason you're not getting pregnant. Maybe the Lord is protecting you from something. Maybe, you know, I could lose you with this pregnancy or delivering this baby or whatever. And he's like, we have 2 girls that need their mom and I don't want to lose you. And so anyway, we talked about it. We prayed about it. We just felt like that was the direction we needed to go. So we talked to the doctor about it, and he was like, yep, we can do it if you guys are, you know, for sure serious. And we're like, yeah, we are. We've gotten our answer. We both woke up after praying about it all night. We woke up the next morning, and I've always been so Like, I don't know why my babies aren't coming. And I know I have babies that need to come to our family, but I miscarried 3 times, and I don't know. I don't know if those are the babies. I'm not sure exactly where. I believe that life doesn't end after death, and I believe that I will be able to raise those babies. That's just my own personal belief. And so maybe that's where those kids are that I've been feeling that I have. But I have always just had this like angst in me that we weren't done and whatever. And all of a sudden this morning, there was just this peace. There was sadness. There was definite sadness, but there was this peace that like, I can't even describe, that like, yes, you have made the right decision. Stick with it. So the, changing gears again, the, what is this foundation I'm using is called it's Clinique Fit Workout Makeup Broad Spectrum SPF 40, and it's in the shade 01 Light. It's a sample. I can't even remember where I got it from, to be quite honest. I don't know if I got like a sample from Sephora, or I don't know where I would have gotten this, but I have it and I love it. Like, I can't believe how much I love it. But yesterday I didn't love it so much. So it's super liquidy. I don't know if you can hear. I don't know where the microphone is on this. So I just shake it up and I just put a little bit on my finger and kind of dot it on my face, and then I rub it in. So there was just this piece that, yep, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Keep going, just do that. So we went in, he tied my tubes, and when he came out, he said that it was a good thing that we tied my tubes, because that was where all the, because your endometriosis can bleed on the inside, but it doesn't bleed as much as what I had, if that makes sense. Like, there was too much blood to account for it just being the amount of endometriosis that I had. And so the blood was backflowing through my fallopian tubes. So by him doing the procedure that he does, where he cauterizes it seals it off, and it prevents any more blood backflow. So the hope is that that will be the case. So surgery is done, and I feel great. It was the best surgery I've ever woken up from. I wasn't all groggy afterwards. I hate that feeling of where they wake you up and your body is just like, nope, can't do this, gotta go back to sleep, and you're trying to stay awake and you feel like a crazy person. I hate that so much. I'm gonna put one more layer on. I really like the way this foundation is wearing, but I think I just need one more layer. And so woke up fine, was talking to my nurse, like, no big deal. And more on my cheeks here than on my forehead. I always get like so much on my forehead when I do it this way. This foundation, you guys, is like so runny. But like I said, I really like it. I can't believe how much I like it. So I felt good, and I was starting to heal, and so I had the surgery on Thursday, and on Sunday, so my daughter had a cold all week long, and on Sunday morning I woke up and my chest was just hurting. it felt like a cold, but I had no symptoms in my head. I had no symptoms in my nose, in my throat, nothing. It was all just right in my chest. So I kind of let it go all day thinking, okay, well, I've picked up her cold and it's fine. I'll be fine. I'll heal and it's fine. But later that afternoon, it just started hurting more and more, and it was more like pinpointed right towards the center. And I just was sitting on my bed, and my husband came in the room. He's like, "What's the matter? You look like you're thinking about something." I said, "I am. I have a bleeding disorder called antiphospholipid syndrome, which means that my proteins in my blood get attacked, and it's an autoimmune disorder, and you're at a higher risk for blood clots is what that means in essence." And the way that we found that was because of the miscarriages. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. He's like, "Well, should we go into the emergency room?" Because my worry was that like I had a clot that had traveled to my lung. And I said, "I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm making too big a deal out of this. Like, maybe it's not that huge of a deal. I'm going to use this Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Concealer and Contour in the color C4. And it's the closest one to my skin color. And I've got some blemishes that I want to cover up. I'll use a different one to lighten under my eyes." And so I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be like the crazy person that's just going in for no reason. But like, if there is a reason, then I don't want to miss it and not go in. This is not blending. I don't know if it's the primer because it blended just fine yesterday. I may have to try it with like a different kind of primer. So, he's like, "Well, why don't you just call your doctor?" I'm like, "Okay, that sounds good." So I called the doctor's office, and you know, I work with all the guys. Well, there's one girl in the office too. I work with her too, but I work with all the guys in that office down in labor and delivery. And so I called, and my doctor wasn't on call, but I talked to one of the doctors, and I was like, "Hey, this is the situation." And he said, "Well, are you worried?" And I said, "I don't know, not really, because I feel like if that was a problem, that I would not be talking to you right now. Like, I feel like maybe it would hurt worse, or I wouldn't be able to breathe or something like that." So I made a mistake, and I was trying to get the new e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and I didn't get it. But rather than returning it and having it be wasted, I'm going to use this one up, and then I will try the Camo Concealer after this. This is the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer, and I actually really like it. I don't know. I think it's fine. And like I said, I don't have a brush that I'm loving for concealer right now. So I've been using this Real Techniques Essential Foundation brush for under my eyes. And I've been using it like just mixed with my foundation brush. So I'm gonna have to kind of work on that. So I told him I'm not that worried about it. But you know, I don't want to let it go and then have it be a problem too. He said, "Why don't you do this? Why don't you go into labor and delivery, which is where I work, and this is actually kind of dark with this foundation. I don't know if it looks brightened at all. And do your vital signs. And if your vital signs are out of whack, then you can go to the ER. And if they're not, then you know you can just watch it and see how you do tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh, that's a really good plan." So I called down to work, and I'm like, "Are you guys too busy to just come in and like, are all your rooms full, or can I come in and just do my vital signs?" And the charge nurse was like, "No, come on in. I'll help you out, and we can do that." So I went in, and we dropped my kids off at my mother-in-law's because we were supposed to have dinner there. And I told them, "I'll be back in like 20 minutes. because I just knew that my vital signs were going to be fine and no worries. I'm just, you know, well, worries, I guess. I'm just worrying for nothing. And it's just going to be a cold because my daughter already had a cold, and that makes the most sense. Actually, I think I'm going to just prime my eyes while I'm here with this concealer. And so that's what I told him. I just was like, I'll be back. See you in a few minutes. And so we got to labor and delivery, and we put my finger in the little oxygen probe, and my oxygen was 100%. So that was a good sign. And so we looked at we did my blood pressure, and it took it, and it was like 167/93 or something like that. And I'm like, what the heck? That is not normal for me. That is way high for me. And I'm usually like in the 1 teens over like 70s. And I'm like, okay, I'm just nervous. I'm gonna sit here. We're not gonna talk about it. We're gonna just do something else. I'm gonna sit here for a little bit, and then we'll take it again. So a few minutes later, we took it again, and it was like 150 something, high 150s over 91. I'm like, what is going on? This can't be real. So we're sitting there some more, and this is a Morphe R1 that I'm going to use for my powder. I just love how like pointed it is, and I could get right in the corner of my eyes. So we're sitting there for a little longer, and I'm making sure that, you know, I've got the right cuff size. Actually, we changed cuffs at this size and put a bigger cuff on just to make sure that like my blood pressure cuff was the right size and all of that. So I'm using the Coty Airspun. And I don't know what color this is. It's not the translate, it's not the white one. It's the one with a little bit of color on it. Just gonna set down under my eyes and around my eyes here, and then I'm gonna set the rest of my face. So I took it again, and I couldn't get it below 140s on the top, and so, and you know, high 80s was the lowest that I got it on the bottom. And so my husband and I decided we better go. So that I don't even know how long I haven't been in frame. Sorry. That I think that the primer helped with my pores for sure. They look so much better today than they did yesterday. But I don't like the brush application of this foundation with that primer. I feel like it kind of got really choppy right in here. And it did that the first coat over here, and I just don't like the way that it applied. So I gotta remember that I have a camera in front of me and I'm talking to the camera, and I need to not just talk to my mirror. And make sure that you guys can see everything. I may have to change my setup a little bit here, I'll try to get ready. Maybe if I just push it further back, I won't get so like into the frame. So anyway, we went back over to the ER, and my pressure was back up to like 169/97. So they took me back, and, you know, because I was having chest pain, you get taken back right away. I am going to still use this Cover FX thing for the contour in it, and I don't know if I'll use a highlight or not. I might want to use a different highlight. But I've got a BoxyCharm blush trio that I want to use. I'm so excited to use that. I haven't used it yet. So I'm going to go in here. Oh, there we go. With this contour shade right here. See, like the colors are so pretty, and this I feel like should be a good finishing powder, but there's all this sparkle in it, and I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but there just is a ton of sparkle, and it's disgusting. Not disgusting. It's not disgusting. It makes my face sparkly, and I don't love that. Let's use, where did it go here? Let's use this. This is a face base. I don't know what kind of brush this is, but I'm going to use this as a contour brush. They got me right back, of course. And I kind of do contour bronzer all in one. And I learned something from, my goodness, I can't even remember who it is, but they put their contour bronzer stuff on first, then they put their highlighter on, and then they put their blush on top of it, and it made the highlight look a little bit more like the glow from within. I want to try that today. They took me in, and then after I went back, and the thing is I wasn't nervous. I don't feel like I was like, you know, I can understand your blood pressure going up if you're being nervous or if you're in a ton of pain. I wasn't either. My surgery spot felt really good. I wasn't having the pain from the endometriosis. I had a little bit of like chest discomfort, but that was it. I didn't have all this pain that I would think would be associated with that high of a blood pressure. And I didn't feel nervous. I felt like, okay, well, if I have this, then they'll treat it, and I'm still talking, so that's a good sign, and whatever. And so we went back, and my blood pressure was consistently high the whole time. They did a chest x-ray to make sure like I don't have a pneumonia or something, which I didn't at that time. And then they wanted to do a CT scan to check for blood clots, but I am unable to tolerate IV contrast. It makes my throat close up, and so we didn't really want that. That night, that would have added way too much excitement for them to have to intubate me, so we didn't really want that. So I they told me that there was another scan that they could do called a VQ scan, and it wasn't as good, but I didn't have to use contrast, and it would take longer because they had to warm some machine up or something, and then they also had to call the tech in, and which I felt super, super bad about. I have been the one that's been on call and been called in, and I hated it. I mean, I'm happy to be a nurse. I'm happy to do what I need to do, but like, I'd rather stay home if the choice were given to me. And so oh guys, this isn't so pretty. This is the new Alamar Cosmetics. It's the Colorette Blush Trio, and I got the shade Fairlight, and it comes with this little mirror. I think this is so fun. We are gonna do the color. Ooh. I'm getting out my eyeshadow palette because I want it to coordinate. So I'm going to use the ColourPop Double Entendre palette. So we're going to use the color Scorcher for my, and it's this color right here. It's so pretty. And I'm just using a Eco Tools Sheer Blush Brush. So I didn't do my highlight first. Sorry, we'll do that next time. Ooh, this is glowy. I did not realize, I mean, there's shimmer in there. I just didn't realize how glowy it was going to be, but it's not shimmery on the skin. It's not, it's not glittery. That is really pretty. That's really, really pretty. Okay, other side. So the guy came in and did the scan, and when he was doing the scan, I had to lay like flat on my back with my arms straight up, and I had to lay there for like dead still, not moving for 30 minutes or more. And I came back to the room and I was hurting. My surgery spot was absolutely killing me. Like, I was in tears as we were rolling back to the room. So they got me some pain meds, and I don't know if something got pulled or torn or what, but I was in so much pain. So they determined that my blood pressure was probably a little bit high because I just had surgery. And I don't know. And I told the nurse, I said, it's really hard because I know my world. Like, so nursing, there's so many different caveats of nursing. And I've been in my world for 3.5 years. My world is labor and delivery. A blood pressure of 160 over 104, which is where mine was, is not good in any situation. Like, we give meds to start bringing it down if it's 160 over 110 or higher. So my blood pressure wasn't what it should have been. And so I was worried about them sending me home. I'm like, I can't go home with a blood pressure this high. That's before we do, what am I trying to say? Before we do my eyeshadow, I want to do my brows. I'm going to use this. I don't know what brand this is. It came in Boxy Charm Sugar something. It's one of those triangle. Ooh, oh, did I run out? Okay. One of those like triangle little pencils with a spoolie on the other end. I really like it. And this does not have a mirror on it, but this does. So, are you kidding me? What just happened? This thing just like fell out onto my lap. Awesome. Whatever. It's put back together. It looks like it's still gonna work. So they got my pain back under control and wanted me to see my OB, obviously. And I already had an appointment to schedule to follow up with him. And so I was so concerned about that blood pressure and them just being like, we want to send you home. Because I would not send anybody home with a blood pressure like that. We would probably be having a baby if that continued and we couldn't get the blood pressure down. And so they were like, oh no, like you're totally fine. If it was a blood clot in your lung, your blood pressure would probably be too low, is what they told me. And I'm like, and I told them, I said, this is not my world. I don't understand how this blood pressure is okay for me to go home on. But like, and I talked to 4 different people. Oh, hello. Sorry. There's the mess of my desk. And so like, I'll trust you since I've talked to 4 of you and you're all saying the same thing. But it's just so out of my element, and it, it does make me nervous. So they sent me home, and I called my doctor the next morning, so that was on a Sunday, and talked to him and told him that I had been in pain ever since, that my pain had all but gone away on Saturday and Sunday, and it had never gone away since then, and that my blood pressure was still high. I have a little machine at home, I can take it. So he called in some pain meds for me, and he called in blood pressure medication, and then we were scheduled to have an actual visit a little bit later in the week. So I got on the blood pressure medication, and it has brought it down nicely, but I'm still taking the medication, and I'm in my normal range, but I'm still on the medication. So I don't know what it's going to be when I go off. He only wants me on it for a month, and then I'm supposed to go off of it. Does anybody else ever feel like their brows, like they never quite look like you want them to look, but it's okay. This thing is falling apart again. Oh, darn it. This is actually, I don't know how, maybe I should look it up and see like how expensive this is, but I really like this. I like the color. The color is Taupe Tom, O2 Taupe Tom. So it's an Arch Arrival Brow Definer. So I am going to use this ColourPop Double Entendre palette, and I do not know how to read the names on the back of this thing. I don't know if this is locked and loaded and this is flasher, or if this is locked and loaded and this is flasher. I don't know if it's like backwards. How do I find out? I'm gonna point to the color that I'm using and then show you that way. So I'm gonna start by just kind of start in my crease with this color, which is either flasher or locked and loaded. And I'm using a dirty brush, of course, because, you know, why not? So then I've seen my doctor several times since then, and I think this would be a better set your concealer color rather than just like a start of your crease, because it's not really doing anything. So I've been in contact with my doctor a bunch, and so now we're gonna go into this shade right here. I actually don't like these names anyway, because first of all, these don't feel like double entendres. They feel like, I don't want to say them on YouTube. So we're not going to. I will just point. So maybe it works out that I don't know what the shade color is. Maybe I'm a big prude, but I don't care. I don't care. So I'm just going a little bit lower in my crease here. So throughout the month, well, it's been 3 weeks, things have not been getting better. They've only been getting worse. I've been out of work. I have been in pain, just like it was my period, and I haven't been able to figure out what was going on. So I met with my doctor again, and he said, you know, I don't know what's going on with you. I went back to the ER again because I was in so much pain, and I can't afford going to the ER. And now we're gonna go to this one right here. He's like, you know, I really don't know what's wrong. You shouldn't be hurting from the surgery anymore. And I was like, I don't feel like I am. I don't feel like this is surgical pain. This is like cramping. And it's anytime that I go to the bathroom, it doesn't matter what kind, I am cramping and feel like I'm in labor. And I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. And he's like, well, I don't either. So that is really pretty. I really like the way that looks, except for that I need to blend this a little bit more when I'm looking on the camera. It's funny how when you look at it in the camera and you look not in the camera, that things look different. Okay, now we're gonna go in with this shade. I'm gonna try to focus it on more of the outer, and I'm just using the same brush, on more of the outer part. So anyway, I went back to my doctor. Yeah, I told you that already. He was like, I don't know what we're gonna do with you. And by this time, we're starting to get worried about the number of narcotics I've been taking. And I don't want to be on them. He does not want me to be on them. There's this whole opioid crisis going on, but at the same time, I'm in a lot of pain and I can't function without them, but I can't function with them either, right? I can't drive, I can't work. And so that's kind of where we're at with that. And so he said, why don't we see you in the office next week and then schedule surgery probably next Thursday, which would have been today actually. And I'm like, great, go in, do whatever you need to do, because I can't do this anymore. I've got to get back to work for one. I really, really like that last shade that I used, and I'm going to use it underneath my eyes. I'm just going to use the same brush and I'm going to pinch it. So do something to fix me, because I can't keep doing this. And so then he sat there for a minute and he was like silent for a minute. And he goes, you know what? I don't want you to be on pain meds for another week. That's dumb. Let's just go in tonight. And I was like, are you sure? Because there was a time I did actually go back to work one night, and I didn't have a patient at the first of the night, which means that you'll get whatever walks in. And so I was sitting up at the front desk and I was I wasn't listening, like, you know, trying to hear, but I was in the same vicinity as the triage nurse giving report. And they were going to keep the patient that she was giving report on for a little while to see some things. I don't even know what was going on, but she didn't even need an IV. And so I looked at the nurse that was taking over and I was like, is there any way I could go start your IV for you? And at this point I was sweating. I was hurting so bad. I'm like, I've got to get up and I've got to do something. I can't just sit here waiting for what's coming in next. Like, I have to do something. And so can I go start your IV for you? Just to get my, you know, to like, what's it called? Distract myself, to divert my mind away from the pain. And hopefully if I was up and moving, the pain wouldn't be as bad. That was like a little fat chance, because I was like hobbling into that poor patient's room. Was like, she was hurting, I was hurting. It was a good old time. But anyway, so I went in and started her IV and came back out, and my doctor happened to be the one that was on call that night. And I was like, how appropriate, I was asking all my coworkers, how appropriate do you think it is for me to call him for me? Like, I'm not calling him for a patient for labor and delivery, I'm calling him for myself. And they're like, he's your doctor, like, do it. And I'm just gonna take this brush and blend it a little bit more. I used this dark brown shade to just kind of deepen things up in the outer corner a little bit. And I used this Luxie 111 mini flat angled brush to put that in, and then I'm just gonna blend it with my same Wine Wild brush. And so I called him, and by this time, I'm not kidding you, it was embarrassing. Where I was sitting in my chair when I got up was soaked because I was sweating so bad. I was sweating like I didn't have any makeup on because I didn't feel good enough to put makeup on, but I was sweating my face off pretty much. Like, I had beads of sweat and it was dripping down my face. It was disgusting. And I called him, or I paged him, and he called me back, and I answered the phone, and I was like almost in tears. And he's like, what's going on? And I was like, well, I'm actually calling you for myself. And he's like, what's happening? And I told him, and I just broke down and I just started crying. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm hurting so bad. I'm shaking. I'm sweating. I can't sit still. I'm cramping so bad. It's going into my butt. It's going down my legs. Every time I go to the bathroom, I feel like I'm in labor. I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, I think you went back to work a little bit too fast. And I'm like, I don't, but I have to work. I have to be able to pay my bills. And he's like, I know, but he's like, I think at this point you just went back too fast. He's like, he's like, I think you need to go home for tonight, which I hate that. I don't like calling in. I don't like leaving them short-staffed. And I want to work. I love my job. I love what I do. I'm going to put this one all over the lid, and this one in the inner corner, and I may do this one on the brow bone. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna put this one in the, all over my lid, this one in the inner corner, and probably this one on my brow bone. So he's like, hang tight there, go get dressed, because we have to change into scrubs when we get there. Go get dressed, but don't leave, because I'm gonna come bring you some prescriptions. Thank you. So this man is like giving up time with his family, not to deliver a baby, like you would think for somebody who is on call, but to come and see somebody who can't freaking control her pain. And I was so embarrassed, and I was so feeling so bad that he would have to come in, but oh my gosh, I was so grateful. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like my only other option at that point was to go to the ER. I was hurting so bad, and like everybody around me, like you could see the sweat like beating off my face, and people would just walk up and they're like, holy cow, what is going on with you? So he came in and did an ultrasound, and he noticed that there was something going on with my left ovary. And so we thought maybe I was ovulating, and that was what was causing so much pain. And so he gave me a bunch of prescriptions. He gave me an antibiotic too, just in case I had developed a urinary tract infection while they were doing surgery. And so, and then we decided, so with the antiphospholipid syndrome, I'm at a higher risk for clots. When you start messing with your hormones, you're also at a higher risk for clots. I don't know if you've heard of like people with on birth control and having strokes from their birth control. So I was like honestly dead worried about that. And so I've been telling him there's this medication that can put you into menopause. Well, first of all, there's like birth controls that they can put you on, and I'm like, I don't want to go on a birth control. I don't want to end up with a stroke or something. And so I told him that night, I will do absolutely anything you want me to do. If you want me to go on birth control, I will go on birth control. If you want me to do this other medication, which we had talked about, and I told him I didn't want to do, which is a medication that puts you into menopause, I will do that. Like, I am game for anything at this point, because I can't live like this. I have to be able to go to work. I have to be able to take care of my family. I can't live like this. And so I told him, do what you gotta do your worst. And so he did. He gave me a whole bunch of prescriptions. So I had to go on the birth control for 10 days. And then I needed to, after my period started, I would go on the medication that makes me go into menopause, which is called Orlissa. Some people get the shots called Lupron, but Orlissa is a new medication, and I'm actually the first one that my doctor's ever given it to. It's supposed to stop the production of estrogen, which, yes, it makes you go into menopause, but it also makes the endometriosis stop growing. So is what we're doing now. But back to this week last week when I went into the emergency room, they wanted to see me the next day, follow up with the doctor. Because this obviously isn't normal, and we need to figure out what's going on. We went in. I'm using the Essence Make Me Brow, just as my brow gel. So we went in and we were talking to him, and that's when he was like, we'll see you next week and see how you're doing, and then we'll go in and take a look. Because he said it looks like there might be something going on with that ovary. And then he said, why don't we send you to our ultrasound tech? This mirror's not quite close enough. Why don't we just send you to our ultrasound tech and see if there's anything else going on with the ovary? Because in the ER the night before, they didn't get, with the CT scan, they didn't get a picture of my pelvis very well, which is weird since that's why I was there. So I went in and she did an ultrasound, and that was super painful. And came back and he said they said there's a, I can't remember what it's called, but I think it starts with a C, like compound or something. Cyst, which means there's blood in it and fluid, and it was 3 centimeters at that point. And so he said, okay, we'll see you back. And then he sat there for a minute and he was like, you know what? He's like, let's go in and do surgery today. Let's just get it done, because you can't live like this. I was very grateful because I can't live like this. I am going to tightline my my eyes, and I'm gonna do a winged liner, and I can't do that while I'm talking. So I'm gonna do that really quick and then I'll come right back. Okay, I'm back. My little baby wings are on, and they're not at all the same, but I like them both, so I'm gonna keep them the way that they are, because I feel like they don't look that much different. So I'm back. So we went in and did surgery. My ovary was starting to kind of twist a little bit, and you know what, I want to use this, and had a 2-inch cyst on it. So it was a little bigger than what they thought in the ultrasound, and so they ended up taking out my ovary. So now there's more surgical pain from this surgery than there was from the other. Quite a bit more, actually. I don't know if this Lash Paradise is gonna work. I think it's too old, but we're gonna see, because I wanna see what this looks like. So the stink of it is that it's the ovary that didn't have endometriosis on it, which I was hoping to keep. Our plan is the same. We're still going to put me on the medication that I go through menopause, or like it puts me in menopause on, and then at the end of 6 months, because that's as long as you can take that medicine, because they don't really know what it does to, like, well, they know that it's not good for your bone density. Then I will probably be having a full hysterectomy, which at this point I'm ready for. If you would have said that when we were still trying to have kids, I would not have been ready for. And so there's a time and place, I guess, but my tubes are tied. Just get this stupid thing out of me. The problem is we have to play by the insurance's rules, and so that's what they say, is I have to go through all of this first before they can do the hyster. So I am ready to have it done and be done. He did say he was worried with the pain that I was having, that what if we did the hysterectomy and I was still having pain? I'm not worried about that anymore. I feel like we know what's going on. We just got to get rid of the source. So, you guys, I have to give a shout out to, I'm going to have to get closer so you guys can see this. First of all, Lash Paradise, because this stuff is friggin' awesome. But, so there's my lashes on the left versus my lashes on the right. My lashes 6 months ago were like so short that you couldn't hardly even see them when I had mascara on. And look how much they've grown. They are almost to the point where I look like I'm wearing falsies, which I love. And it's all thanks to Babe Lash. My sister-in-law got this for my birthday, which is in December, and then she gave me a new box for Mother's Day. So this is my box. And it comes in this isn't sponsored, by the way. I'm not big enough for that. It comes in a tube like this, and the reason I keep it isn't in the boxes so that I don't lose it, and so that I remember it. Like, it's not just one of my mascaras that kind of get put with the mascara and then I forget about it. But seriously, it has like changed the game for me. I don't even wear false lashes anymore since doing this. One, because at first I was a little bit scared that they would like it would pull out my natural lashes. I don't know why I was scared of that, but as I was trying to grow them, I didn't want them to be pulled out. But two, I don't really need them anymore. Which is funny. My lashes have started, they're long enough that they've started hitting my sunglasses when I wear my sunglasses. So yeah, been going through all that, and you know what, I need to be a better person and just work through the pain-induced school. I'm obviously on pain meds right now, or else this would not be possible. I would be curled up with my heating pad. That was the other problem with right now, I am now on my period. I'm less than a week post-surgery. I'm bleeding more than I've ever bled in my entire life. And I was running out of pain meds, and they're scared that I'm going to withdraw, and they wanted me to see a pain clinic. But a pain clinic won't see me until I'm at least 2 to 3 months post-op. And we're hoping that this is all, gone by that time, with the medications that they're giving me. So I'm just going to do these bottom lashes really quick. And then this, mascara, it's the one I have been carrying in my purse, because sometimes I'll just get to work without my makeup done and I just want some mascara on at least, so that I don't look, I don't know, quite so unmade up. But it is definitely old, and it's not building up my upper lashes the way that I want it to. All of my mascaras are old, actually. Cool thing, if you have mascara, save your wand, clean it off and save it, and search for, I really should find it. Maybe I can find it and I'll put it in the description box. Search for a place that takes wands, and they use it to clean off animals, when they've gotten in oil and stuff. They use it, the mascara wands, to do that. So don't send them the whole tube. Don't send them dirty wands. Clean your wands and then send it to this place. I'll find it and I'll share it with you. So I save all of my old mascara. So, it's getting time, I've taken enough time filming and stuff that my meds are kind of starting to wear off. So I'm trying to find a mascara that's going to make my lashes look really, really, really long. Let's try. So I have to tell you guys something. If, I want my channel to be very, very family friendly. I know that there's names on makeup that I feel like is not family friendly, that I feel like I wouldn't say in front of my kids. I have a mascara that I got from Too Faced. You guys can probably, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. It's very similar to the Lash Paradise. Everybody says the Lash Paradise is a dupe for it. I have it. I have used it. It's not my favorite, and I don't want to say what it is on my channel, because I don't like the name. So I'm kind of weird like that. So, sorry. if I won't say it in front of my kids, and I say a lot in front of my kids, if I won't say it in front of my kids, then I'm not going to say it on my channel. I don't feel good about that. I'm gonna use this Essence / Princess Fault / Effect mascara. I used this by itself yesterday, and it made my lashes like woo, super long, but it didn't make them very voluminous, if that makes sense. So now that I've got the other one on, I'm hoping that will give it the volume that I need, and then I can put this over the top. We'll see. I don't know. We're all just playing around. It's just makeup. But this stuff I do really love, and it's so affordable. Like, I think $5 is the max for what this mascara is or costs. It is making my lashes kind of spidery because I let the other one dry and then put this one on, and I don't love that effect quite so much because there's the volume. But I did want my lashes to be more this than what they were. So I will live with it for today. Can you guys see the difference? Look at that. This is good mascara. You guys, I'm so excited. It's my kid's last day of school, and I love having them home. They're like the best. They play together so good. And I know, you know, that won't always maybe be the case, but I think that looks pretty awesome. And I'm gonna leave it just like that. So yeah, what have you guys all been up to? I've been getting so many like comments on different videos, and they all just make me like, it just like makes me yearn to film, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I love doing this. You guys, I'm gonna stay in my nightgown today. So I'm gonna wear this makeup and earrings that match my nightgown. Shall we? I think we shall. So I love these earrings. My sister-in-law got these for me. They're so pretty. So yeah, I miss filming, but like I never really got into a good schedule, and then I was trying to focus on school and get through that, and if I could get my dang earring in, that would be fantastic. So I was trying to focus on school and trying to focus on doing all that, and I felt like something had to give, and filming was what had to give at that point. But now I haven't been working and can't go back for a few weeks, so who knows, we may get up some videos in the next couple weeks. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with my earrings? I don't know why they're not going in. Okay, they're in. I think I haven't worn earrings in a little bit, and I think it was like my holes were like, wait, what in the heck is going on? Okay, you guys, I have found a lipstick that I love. I am like, seriously, I love BoxyCharm. It has like changed the makeup game for me, because I can't afford all of this stuff. And I have been able to find some stuff like that I don't love, and some stuff is like really awesome finds. Well, sometimes they send weird colors. I will say that. And I wish like that if they could send all neutrals, I think the whole world would love that. But like sometimes I've gotten some off oranges and stuff, but oh my gosh, they sent me this Dose of Colors lipstick in color truffle, and it is so pretty. So I wore it for the first time, because like I said, I haven't been wearing makeup. So I wore it for the first time yesterday, and it wears so pretty. It wears off so pretty. And it is so comfortable on the lips. So there's a finished look. If I could get my hair to cooperate. So yeah, great look for staying in my nightgown all day. So, but you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. My husband had to work all night last night, and so it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still waiting for him to come home. He's been there for 12 hours, and the job that they were doing, like, it has to be done today. And so he is an amazing man, and he works so hard for us. And especially now that I haven't been able to work, he's really trying to pick up the slack, and he's just amazing. I'm so grateful for him and so grateful I have him. And I'm so grateful for you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening to me talk. This was a long video, and I'm sorry it was so long, but I don't know how to do it shorter. Somebody, you know what? Oh, you know what I didn't do? Ah, how can we forget? Highlight, guys. We forgot highlight. I'm gonna do the Essence Pure Nude highlighter. And I'm just gonna use this little Wet n Wild fan brush. I like that. It's a pretty natural glow. I do like me some blinding highlight, and so I tend to build it up just a little bit, but I don't know if you guys can see that very well. I wonder if my lighting is really showing it off, but it's enough that it gives a really, really pretty glow. And I like to take my fingers, see, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see that glow on there. It's really pretty. And I just do a little bit on the top of my top lip. I don't like to do it on my nose. My nose is shiny enough, and there's enough attention brought to it by it just being it. So, I think I'm gonna add a little bit of this Castaway blush to kind of lighten things up a little bit. I'm just very orangey today, and that's that. So of course add more orange, why not? Wonder if some of the pink would kind of tone it down just a tiny bit. That's what I'm looking for, actually. This is Paraíso. That's better. That's what I was looking for. And I did it. I did the highlight and then blush on top of it like I wanted to, right? It all works out in the end. So thank you guys for hanging out with me and watching me, or hopefully you got ready with me. You did your makeup at the same time that I did mine. And thank you for being so forgiving of just my inconsistency. This channel is just something that's super fun for me, and I need to do it as I can do it, or else it becomes stressful, and I don't want it to become stressful. I want it to be fun. I do have to show you guys really quick. I am giving another shout out to Color Street. So look how pretty my nails are. I've had them on for a week, and they look amazing. And this is the style, I guess it's called Styled Coral Bay. So I don't sell Color Street or anything, but a lot of you have messaged me about my on my Color Street video, or did comments on that video, and yes, I'm still using them, still love them. I in this break off work, because I'm not allowed to have, oh gosh, you know, we're too far. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm not allowed to have like gel nails at work. So while I've been off work, I have gel stuff that I can do just right at home. And so to kind of take my mind off of everything when I've got some payments in me and I'm in an okay spot, I have been playing with my nails a little bit, and so I did some gel, and I realized I didn't like it as much as I remember liking it, because I like to change up my style too much. Except for these ones. I really, really like these ones. I'm leaving them on for as long as they'll stay on. But I need to stick with the Color Street, I think, so that I can change my nail designs up frequently as I want to, rather than ruining my nails, because it takes a lot out of your nails to take the gel off. So anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to that, and this video is eternities long, and I'm really sorry, and thank you for sticking with me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye!